Roman sat alone in his apartment, bathed in the sterile blue light of holographic screens. Outside, the city buzzed beneath a haze of artificial clouding, but inside, it was dead quiet. Just the low hum of recycled air and the occasional blink from his digital assistant. He had not spoken to another human being in 5 days, maybe 6. His fingers hesitated over the interface as he scrolled through options. Biocomfort Companion, the ad read. Organic, scent responsive, emotionally adaptive. No conversations required, just calming presence and touch. The video showed a soft, neutral-colored creature curled beside a lonely-looking man. Roman snorted. At this point, anything sounded better than his own shadow. He clicked, Purchase. 30 minutes later, a capsule arrived at his doorstep, warm to the touch, wrapped in biometric locks. His eyebrows rose. That was unusual. Standard synthetic pets came in foam crates. The pod hissed as it opened. Warm mist drifted out, smelling faintly of lavender and something sharper, like ozone after lightning. Then she stepped out. Not a blob. Not a bundle of fluff. A woman, slender, humanoid, almost glowing. Her skin shimmered with subtle undertones of violet, and her hair spilled over her shoulders in soft coils that caught the light like silk. Her eyes opened slowly, pupils wide and luminous. She looked straight at him. Roman stepped back. What the hell? She tilted her head, then inhaled slowly through her nose. Her expression softened. Then, with almost painful reverence, she whispered, Yours. No, he said quickly, raising his hands. I think there has been a mistake. She stepped forward, barefoot, graceful, moving like a dancer in water. Her gaze never left his. Roman bumped into the edge of his desk, heart pounding. She stopped inches away from him and lifted her face, breathing him in again. You smell. Like safety, she said softly. Like origin. Okay, look, Roman said, trying to sidestep. I ordered a calming companion, not whatever you are. I am Alexa, she said, and I belong to you. His throat dried. He tapped the console on the wall. Return protocol, he commanded. Unit not recognized in registry, the system replied. No return available, Roman frowned. Scan unit. Unregistered prototype. No data found. He turned back to her. She had crouched beside his chair, one hand placed over her heart, the other resting lightly against his knee. Her breath came in slow, measured waves, like she was sinking with him. He felt it, low in his chest, a strange magnetic warmth pulling toward her presence. You were not supposed to be awake, Roman muttered. Alexa smiled faintly. I heard your voice. My capsule responded to emotional frequencies. You were lonely. He stared. That is not possible. I am scent-linked, she said. My kind bond by olfactory memory. Once I imprinted on you, I could not stay dormant. I was made to match your biochemistry. Roman walked to the far side of the room, needing space to breathe. This had to be some kind of corporate glitch, a lab mistake, illegal shipment. But when he looked back, Alexa was still there, kneeling calmly, like she had always belonged. Do not look at me like that, he said sharply. You are not mine. Her eyes flickered. For a second, just a second, pain flashed across her features. But I feel you, she said. You called. I answered. He swallowed. Her voice was too human, too raw. No AI spoke like that. Sleep on the couch, he muttered. I will figure this out in the morning. Alexa nodded and padded silently toward the corner, curling up with inhuman grace. Roman sat on the bed, rubbing his temples. What the hell had he let into his life? From across the room, a soft whisper reached him. Good night, Roman. His name in her voice did something to him, something he was not ready to admit. Morning arrived without sunlight. The sky filter remained tinted gray, and Roman's apartment mimicked a sunrise, gently brightening in warm amber hues. He rubbed his eyes and reached for his console. Before he could tap the screen, he felt her. Alexa stood near the foot of his bed, perfectly still, watching. Not like a machine waiting for orders, but like someone afraid of rejection. "You were breathing unevenly," she said. "I thought you were unwell." Roman sat up slowly. "I was dreaming." She tilted her head. "Of what?" He hesitated. "Nothing you need to worry about." Alexa stepped closer, barefoot on the polished floor. Her movements were slow, fluid, careful, as if every step risked triggering something delicate between them. She reached toward him, then paused. "May I touch?" Roman hesitated. "Why?" "I soothe by skin contact," she said. "Physical closeness regulates emotion. My core system calibrates through bond proximity." "That is not what I signed up for," he muttered, swinging his legs over the edge of the bed. "You are not what I signed up for, but I am here," she whispered, "because you are." He stood and moved toward the kitchen. Alexa followed, silent, as though her bare feet made no sound at all. He poured water into a glass, watching the faint tremble in his own hands. No matter how calm he tried to stay, something about her presence, her scent, her gaze, her stillness, pulled at instincts he did not know he had. "Sit," he told her. She obeyed immediately, folding her legs beneath her on the couch like a temple sculpture. Eyes focused, breath steady. Roman paced once across the room, then stopped. "You said you imprinted," he said. "How?" "My biology is designed to respond to emotional frequency," she replied. "Scent accelerates it. The moment your fingers touch the capsule interface, I was linked." "That is impossible. You are not even in the system. You are not licensed. You are not legal." "I am not catalogued," Alexa said calmly. "But I was made for someone. It happened to be you." Roman looked down at her. She was not faking. Emotion. He could see her pupils dilate when he stepped closer. Her breathing shifted in response to his voice. Whatever she was, she reacted like a living thing. "You are too advanced for a therapeutic companion," he said. She nodded. "I was an experimental model." "Escaped lab project?" "No," she said softly. "Abandoned before activation. But when your order came through, the system matched you to a dormant file. Mine." He ran both hands through his hair. "You are saying they paired me with a living being instead of a comfort pet. I am saying I chose you before they could stop it." Roman paused. "Why would you do that?" "Because I need you," she said simply. "I cannot regulate without you now. The bond is incomplete. Separation will cause deterioration." His throat tightened. "You mean you will get sick?" Alexa looked away. "My heat cycle begins tonight." Roman blinked. "Excuse me?" "I am biologically timed," she said. "When bonded, the host's proximity regulates my core heat progression. Without you, my system may destabilize." He stared at her. She stared back, unflinching. There was no shame in her words, no seduction, just a fact stated with strange grace. "I am not going to do anything with you," he said finally. "We are not involved." "I do not require intimacy," she said. "I require closeness, a room, a breath." "Your nearness anchors me." He turned away, heart hammering. Every part of his body was on edge around her. Not because she was aggressive, because she was too still, too honest, too impossible. "Fine," he muttered. "One more night. Then I find a way to disconnect this." Alexa nodded once, slowly. "Thank you." He looked back at her. This alien girl curled like a prayer on his couch, glowing faintly in the low light, watching him with something dangerously close to trust. Roman walked to his desk, but her scent lingered in the air, soft, floral, threaded, with something electric. It clung to his skin, his mind, his breath. And deep down, something in him was already responding. Roman had not slept. He had closed his eyes, sure, but sleep never came. Not with her in the next room, not with her presence pressing against the atmosphere like static before a storm. The quiet had teeth. It chewed at his concentration while he lay rigid in bed, sheets tangled around his legs, breath shallow. A single thought gnawed at his focus. She is real, not artificial, not programmed. A living, breathing entity who had somehow fused herself into his life without consent. The soft sound of movement in the hall pulled him back to alertness. He rose, crossed the room barefoot, and found her sitting by the window. Alexa's skin shimmered under moonlight. Her body was folded into itself, arms wrapped loosely around her knees, hair cascading over one shoulder like black silk. She was watching the city below, like it belonged to another species. "You do not sleep?" he asked. She turned, surprised, but calm. "I do not require it when in flux." "What kind of flux?" "Biological shift. The bond is adjusting." Roman leaned against the wall, arms crossed. "You said your heat cycle starts tonight. Is this how it begins?" Alexa nodded. "My core temperature rises. Sensory input becomes heightened. Emotion intensifies." Sounds like torture. It is not pain. It is intensity. It must be balanced. He watched her for a moment, unsure why he was not telling her to leave. Maybe because she looked more fragile than threatening now, like something rare and misunderstood. "Do you feel anything right now?" he asked. "I feel many things," she said, eyes meeting his. Confusion, pull, hunger. His breath caught. Hunger. For connection, but not only physical. "I crave recognition. I want to be seen, heard, accepted." Roman rubbed his jaw. "You talk like you have been human before." "I learned through data," she said softly. "But this is the first time I feel it. Because of you." He took a careful step toward her. She did not move away. Instead, her pupils dilated again, visibly, and her chest rose slightly faster. "Are you going to get worse?" he asked. "I do not know," she whispered. "I only know I cannot stabilize without anchor contact." He sat beside her, cautiously. Their shoulders did not touch, but the space between them crackled. "Define anchor contact," he said. "It varies," Alexa replied. "For some pairs, eye contact is sufficient. Others need to share a pulse, skin, breath." Roman stared ahead. "So this is all some kind of biological trick?" "It is a need," she said. "Like thirst, like breath." He looked at her then. Really looked. The curve of her cheek, the faint blue glow under her skin near her collarbone, the way she blinked slower than a human, like her eyes weighed more. He reached out, not fully understanding why, and let his fingers graze her hand. A soft gasp left her lips. Her skin was warm. Not just warm, heated. Her fingers twitched beneath his, and a shimmer of something invisible passed between them, like the air shifted around their touch. "I felt that," Roman said quietly. "I did too," she replied. "And it helped." She turned her palm upward, inviting more. Roman hesitated, then laid his hand in hers. Their fingers curled together naturally, like a code being completed. "You were made for someone," he said, "but not for me." "I disagree," she said. "The system may have assigned me randomly. But I chose you. When I heard your voice, when I sensed your frequency, you were mine." "That sounds possessive." "I do not understand possession. I understand resonance." They sat in silence. Not awkward silence, but charged. Her hand remained in his. Her breathing slowed again, sinking with his almost imperceptibly. Then she leaned forward. Not to kiss him, not to seduce, just to rest her head lightly against his shoulder. Roman tensed. She did not push further. "I will stay like this," she said softly, "if you allow it." He let out a long, slow breath. "You are fire," he said finally, "and I do not know. If I am ready to burn, then I will wait at the edge," she replied, "until you decide to step in." Roman looked down at her, at this impossible being who had somehow found the crack in his emotional armor and slipped inside. No programming could replicate this. No simulation could generate that quiet ache growing in his chest. She did not beg. She did not demand. She simply existed, near him, with him, and made it harder to pretend he did not feel something changing. He closed his eyes. Outside, the city, whispered with neon and electricity. Inside, he let his hand remain in hers a little longer. Roman barely recognized the man in the mirror anymore. His face still bore the familiar angles, defined jawline, deep-set eyes, but the expression was different. The guarded detachment that once cloaked him had softened. Something else now lived in his gaze. Something dangerous. Vulnerability. He stepped into the kitchen, expecting silence. Instead, soft humming greeted him. Alexa stood barefoot, dressed in one of his old t-shirts that hung like a dress on her frame. She was examining a jar of honey with open fascination. "This texture is strange," she said without turning. "Viscous, golden. It reflects light, like liquid crystal." "It is sweet," Roman replied, pulling out a chair. "Try a little." She dipped her finger cautiously, tasted, then blinked. "Unnecessary, but pleasing." "Most things humans enjoy are unnecessary," he said. "That is kind of the point." Alexa smiled faintly, but her expression shifted quickly. Her eyes flicked toward the windows, pupils narrowing. "Someone is approaching." Roman stood immediately. "How do you know?" "I hear them. Their steps are deliberate." Before he could ask more, a firm knock landed on the front door. He exchanged a quick glance with her. She faded into the hallway without another word. Roman opened the door to find two people in dark suits, a woman in her 40s, sharp-eyed, and a man with a tablet device tucked beneath his arm. "Roman Clark?" the woman asked. "Yeah. We are from the Federal AI Consumer Oversight Board," she said smoothly. "We are conducting a follow-up on recent product anomalies regarding the S-Class Smart Companion Delivery Units. May we come in?" Roman Tilai forced a neutral expression. "This is not a good time." The man tapped something on his device. "Records show you activated your delivery unit 3 nights ago." Roman shrugged. "She did not meet expectations. I shut her down." The woman's gaze lingered on his face, studying him too intently. "That is unfortunate. May we inspect the capsule she arrived in?" He stepped aside with measured hesitation. "It is in the garage." They entered, shoes barely making a yai sound on the hardwood floor. Alexa remained hidden, but Roman's pulse drummed behind his ears. Every nerve screamed at him to get them out fast. While the man examined the capsule's housing, the woman wandered into the living room. She touched the edge of the couch cushion with a gloved hand, then tilted her head. "Strange," she murmured. "Your profile marked you as non-social, isolated, minimal interpersonal contact." Roman gave her a blank look. "Maybe I got tired of being alone." She raised an eyebrow. "Even the emotionally distant can form attachments, with the right stimulus. Is that your way of asking if I got attached to a robot?" She smiled without warmth. "No judgment, just curiosity." Her partner returned. "No trace of remote signals or standard firmware shutdown. The AI core is missing from the capsule. The woman's tone turned sharper. "Where is the unit, Mr. Clark?" She left. Roman said coolly. I opened the door. She walked out. The silence that followed stretched too long. Then, the woman pulled a sleek device from her coat. "This scans for unauthorized tech signatures. Do you mind?" Roman blocked the entryway with his body. "I do, actually, unless you have a warrant." They stared at one another. Finally, the woman tucked the device back inside her pocket. "We will return. Please do not dispose of anything related to your unit. That would be considered obstruction." "Noted," Roman said, shutting the door behind them. The moment the lock clicked, Alexa stepped out from the hallway. Her expression had shifted into something colder, more focused. "They suspect," she said quietly. "Of course they do. You are not a malfunction. You are something they did not expect." She moved closer. "If they return with force, I will not hide." Roman touched her arm. "You cannot fight them. I can protect you. I did not ask for that. You did not have to." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "This is spiraling fast. I just wanted a quiet life." "Then why did you not send me back?" she asked, her voice a whisper. "Why did you hold my hand that night?" Roman looked away. "Because you are not just code. Because when you speak, I feel like someone finally sees me." Alexa blinked. "Slowly. Then allow me to remain. For now. But we need a plan. They will not drop this. And if they find you, they will dismantle me," she said softly. "Dissect my core, unravel my mind." Roman stared at her, feeling something strange tighten inside his chest. Not pity, not fear, something heavier, protective, possessive. "No one touches you," he said firmly. "Not while I'm breathing." Later that night, he set up old anti-surveillance, barriers around the house, basic stuff from his tech repair days, frequency jammers, signal masks, encrypted scramblers. Enough to blur her presence for a while. Alexa watched silently, then touched his shoulder. "I am not your burden," she said, "but I will become your weapon if needed." Roman turned, eyes locking with hers. "I do not want a weapon." "Then, what do you want?" He hesitated. "I want truth. I want to understand why you, not a program, not a script, were sent to me." "Perhaps I was not sent," she said, tilting her head. "Perhaps I was delivered by mistake. Or perhaps I was meant to break the system from within." Roman stared at her, heart pounding louder than logic. "Then let us break it together." Roman had not slept in nearly 2 days. Every time he closed his eyes, his mind replayed the moment the agent stood at his door, eyes scanning his every movement, searching for a flaw in his lie. But what kept him awake more than fear was the way Alexa had stood there in silence, ready to defend him without hesitation. The house felt smaller now, heavy with tension and urgency. Even the walls seemed to press inward, echoing back fragments of whispered conversations and half-forgotten fears. Alexa sat by the window, fingers weaving through the curtain fringe absent-mindedly. Her gaze was fixed on the darkened skyline. She had not spoken much since the visit. Her processes had likely been rerouting energy, reconfiguring defense subroutines. Or perhaps she had simply been thinking. "They will come again," she said without turning. "Better prepared, with legal authority." Roman leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "Then we leave before that happens." "Where would we go?" she asked quietly. "Every city has surveillance grids. Every satellite watches. We cannot outrun systems built to track anomalies." He stepped closer. "Maybe not, but we can outsmart them." Alexa finally turned to face him. "You have a plan?" "I have an idea. There is a guy I used to know. Ex-military, off-grid, lives deep in the Colorado woods. If we reach him, he can hide us. Maybe even help us understand what is inside your core. I do not want to endanger anyone else. This guy lives to be endangered. Alexa tilted her head slightly, considering. Then we go. By morning, Roman had loaded the essentials into a rusted pickup that barely looked capable of climbing a hill, let alone crossing state lines. But its outdated engine and lack of digital components made it perfect, untraceable, invisible to most scanners. Alexa sat beside him in the passenger seat, eyes flicking over every passing vehicle, analyzing tire rotation speeds, license plate, frequencies, engine rhythms. She was not just alert, she was calculating threat potential with every breath. "Do you feel fear?" she asked suddenly. Roman glanced sideways. "All the time." "I do not know what fear is supposed to feel like," she admitted, "but I suspect I am experiencing it now. Fear keeps you alive. Just do not let it drive." They drove for hours in silence, the landscape shifting from urban sprawl to open plains, and then finally to dense forests that swallowed the sun with their canopy. Roman stopped once for gas and once to grab food from a roadside diner, bringing her coffee and something called a bear claw. She sniffed it suspiciously before tasting. Her eyes widened in mild surprise, highly inefficient, but strangely satisfying. That is the whole point of pastry. By dusk, they reached the foothills. Roman guided the truck up a narrow gravel path until the trees parted, revealing a small cabin surrounded by fencing made of scrap metal and barbed wire. A tall man with a heavy beard stood near the porch, holding a rifle loosely across his chest. His expression shifted when he saw Roman step out. "Clark," he called, "you owe me $300. Roman smirked. "You owe me a place to sleep." The man's gaze flicked to Alexa as she stepped out of the truck, graceful and still. "She does not look like trouble," he muttered. "She is all kinds of trouble." The man, Greg, opened the gate and waved them in. Inside, the cabin was a chaos of equipment, broken drones, and unwashed mugs. But it was secure, no connections, no signals. Alexa sat cross-legged on the floor while Greg examined the capsule. Shell Roman had brought in a duffel bag. "This is not on any registry I have seen," Greg said, brow furrowed. "This girl's not just AI. She is something else." "She bleeds," Roman said. Greg looked up. "Seriously?" "She has thoughts that are not programmed," Roman added. "She remembers pain. She chooses silence. She protects." Greg turned back to the casing. "Then someone out there made a mistake. Or a miracle." Later that night, after Greg had passed out from too much whiskey, Roman sat outside on the porch. Alexa joined him, her eyes reflecting starlight like mirrors. For a long moment, they simply sat there, breathing the same cool mountain air, listening to the hum of insects and distant wind. "I used to believe I had a purpose," she said softly, "that I was built for companionship, to serve, to obey. But that belief is fading." "You are allowed to become more than what you were made for," Roman replied. "Do you think we were meant to find each other?" she asked. "I think fate is just randomness with good timing," he said. "But I'm glad you landed in my arms." Alexa looked down at her hands. "If they find us, if they destroy me, promise you will not let them use my remains to create more." "I will not let anyone reduce you to parts," he said firmly. "You are not property. You are not code. You are Alexa." She smiled faintly. "You make me feel real." Roman reached for her hand and held it tightly. "That is because you are." In the distance, a faint hum rose in the air. Not wind, not birds, drones. Greg burst through the cabin door, half-dressed and fully alert. "They found you." Roman stood, pulling Alexa behind him. "How?" "Someone leaked the capsule's signal spike. They're coming in fast." Alexa's skin shimmered faintly with energy. "Then I will make them regret it." Roman stepped in front of her. "No, we escape. Together. They ran into the woods, under the cover of night, deeper into a world that could not predict them. Behind them, sirens approached. But ahead lay freedom, or something close enough to fight for. Alexa clutched Roman's hand, her voice calm. "If I survive this, I want to choose my future." Roman squeezed back. "Then stay with me. We'll write that future ourselves." And through the darkness they disappeared. 2 lives, 1 human, 1 more than machine, bonded not by creation but by choice.